Hi, Garrett Christopher here. I want to thank you for checking in. This is my first YouTube channel. I've got three of them. There's this one called Garrett's Take, then Garrett's Sports Take, where I kind of involve teams that I love. And I'll talk about sports in general, but it will be biased toward teams that I love. And then Garrett's Movies Take, where I talk about, again, movies that I love. And yeah, just going to give you a post view. Not a preview because they've all been out for a little while, but yeah, a post view of why I think they're some of the greatest movies out there. All right, so this one here, we're just talking about stuff. And this is part 3 of my initial presentation. By the way, please visit GaretChristopher.com and you get a chance to see that I'm a self-published author. Got some books out there, plus some audiobooks available on Audible, 2 of them in fact. I also do a weekly podcast available on Soundcloud and Spotify. Spotify. So yeah, check them out, please. All right, so here's where I finally get to a story that I want to tell with this first presentation. By the way, we've already decided that Zoe should not go to the vet. That vets sometimes charge too much, and that if it was between me and my youngest child's dog, she would save the dog before me, hands down. 101 times out of 100. Boom, there you go. All right, so at this time, it was about 30 years ago, and so I'm like, not even more than that, but I'm like 18, 19 years old. My brother, who's 7 years younger, has stayed with me for a few days, and now we're going to meet up at a central location, the Grapevine in Southern California. I think at Marie Callender's or something like that. So my father can take my brother Robert back with him, and my father is bringing Rosie. Now, I haven't met Rosie before. And at the time, I can't remember if they were either married or dating. But first time I've met Rosie, my brother Robert had met her before, but I had not. So, of course, she wants to meet me, the other son in the family. And now my folks had been divorced 3 years by this time. So I didn't think I was salty about it, but I must have been a little bit. Plus, I'm salty in general. That's kind of my makeup. So yeah, I think that as we're there in the restaurant, I'm pretty sure I was kind of setting up my territory. Here's my father, who just 3 years ago was married to my mother, and now they're separated. Now you come in, and I'm supposed to just accept you because of who you are. No, it's not going to happen. I got to make sure you understand I don't like you for no reason at all. And she wasn't the reason why my parents broke up, but so be it. By the way, Rosie has passed on since all of this. It's been a while. She's passed on, and she was great. Rosie was great to my wife, great to my kids, very, very good for my brother. He may disagree in some cases, but she was a parent to him, during his some years there, so no doubt friction. But yeah, so Rosie, we love you. We miss you, okay? Let's get that straight. But I didn't know all that about Rosie just yet, right? First time meeting her. And I had to set up my territory. I didn't have to. I'm just kind of, I'm like that. Anyway, so we're eating. And they're talking about this and that, whatever. And I'm not really paying much attention. Because again, I'm trying to be the tough guy. I'm not going to just give in to you. You're taking over and I'm not having it. So I think that my brother and I'm kind of like, joking back and forth, and she'd say something, I'd make a little smart remark, and I'm sure making it very uncomfortable for her at the time, and I'm being just a jerk, big time jerk, which, again, I'm kind of like that, and I was really like that back then. I just say, oh my goodness, if I made a list of the things that I've said that are just, why would you say that at that time to that person, that particular comment, really embarrassing. Yeah, I'm taking those to my grave. They're really embarrassing. Okay. So we're sitting there eating. So at one point, she starts talking about her cat. And I can't remember the cat's name. My brother would remember it, but I can't remember. And so I'm looking at my father. Now, growing up, we never had a cat in the house, right? From what I knew, he didn't like cats. No, I take it back. He did like cats. Late at night, driving on a dark road, cat in the middle of the street. He liked that kind of a cat. But as far as the house, we never had one, right? Now, since then, my mother's had cats. I love Zoe. I'm fine with cats. Half of them I'm allergic to, so I can't really like those too much, But yeah, for the most part, I'm fine with them. But at this point, the man I know didn't like cats. And here's this woman talking about how much he loves his cat and going on and on about it, right? So I'm looking at him, and finally I say, you don't like cats? And he looks at me like, yes, I do. Shut up. I do like them. And I'm like, no, you don't. We never had a cat growing up. So Rosie looks at him, he looks at her, and, he's, again, trying to give me the eye like, you need to be quiet. I do like cats now. So now my brother and I start to mess around, right? Now we're joking, and my father's a real big man, right? So now we're joking about him having this shirt on that says "I love cats" with like cat paws all over it, and we're just busting up laughing. This isn't funny to you, but it was hilarious to us at the time. So up to this point, I had already been kind of ignoring Rosie, right? Now I'm shoving stuff in her face, okay? So the dinner ends, whatever, nice meeting you, yeah, whatever. So they take off. So I talked to my dad like a week or 2 weeks later, whatever. This is a long time ago, so I barely remember. And probably these facts are half wrong, but so be it. He tells me that on the way home, and you figure from Magic Mountain to Bakersfield is a good 75, miles. And he was probably doing 90, so 65 minutes, whatever. They had the worst argument on the way home because he had lied to her about the cat thing. Why would you say that? And they get into it, and it was not. My brother, he confirmed it. It was not a fun ride home. So, but you know what? He should have told her. He should have been honest. I don't like cats. I kind of like you, but the cat's got to go. He didn't. Now, since then, cats, and there's nothing wrong with cats, right? I'm more of a dog guy, though, right? So as far as De Niro and Meet the Parents, I don't see his side of it. I'd rather have a dog than a cat. You get home after a long day at work or whatever, you walk in the door, where's the dog? If the dog's inside the house, the dog comes running, tail's wagging, and it's all happy to see you, and maybe it has to go pee-pee, but that's fine. It's still happy to see you for whatever reason. The cat, you can't find it. You have no idea where it is or what it's been doing. So I want to say a comment here, but I'm not going to say it. I'll get in big trouble. We'll leave it alone. Anyway, there you have it. So yeah, that's the story. So what do you think? First of all, do vets overcharge? Do they prey upon those that love their animals so much they'll do anything for that animal more than they do for a human? And again, I gave you an example, I think in part 2, where I talked about if I was sick somewhere and my daughter had to fork up some, some money to get me well, she's not doing it. I bet 150 would be her max. That's about the top. Anything beyond that, and that includes not just a visit, that would include the medicines after the fact. So if it comes over 150, 149.95, she's out. Sorry, Dad, you got to stay here. Or with the animal, oh my goodness, break out the credit cards and beg, borrow, or steal, whatever you got to do. Let's do it, right? She's not the only one. There are a lot of people, animal lovers, that you can't get them to love their neighbor or their family or their friends. But that animal, even after 6 months, they will do whatever they need to take care of that animal. Is that wrong? No, they're helpless. But aren't people that are helpless too at times? I don't know. So be it. But yeah, I think sometimes, now again, every person I've ever met that's worked in the veterinary field, I've felt inside they love animals. To the core, they love animals. I looked over here because my time's just about up. Let's conclude this first presentation of Garet's Take. Thanks so much for checking in. I have no idea what the next topic's going to be, but I'll find out here pretty soon. And so will you if you check in. GaretChristopher.com. And check it out. Check out my podcast too. You might enjoy it, okay? Hey, thanks so much. Have a great day. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. Just got to turn you off, don't I? All right. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording.